truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
If you could please be seated, state and spell your name for the record.
Detective Kayla, Kayla, last name Bierke, B as in boy, J as in John, Erke.
How are you employed?
As a detective with the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been with the Sheriff's Department?
It's about 7.5 years.
How long have you been a detective?
About 2 or 3 years now.
Can you describe some of your general duties as a detective?
Follow up with any cases that may be assigned, help with other cases that are as assigned, and just be a support role with other detectives.
Judge, I think we could turn the lights on.
I think they're doing that right now.
Okay, thank you. Were you working on April 3rd, 2024 in that capacity?
I was.
As part of your duties that day, did you participate in obtaining a search warrant and then executing it at the location of 1858 North Commerce Street, apartment 309?
I did.
Is that in the city and county of Milwaukee?
It is.
And a search warrant gives judicial authorization for law enforcement to go into a location and search it, correct?
Correct.
And you received that authority?
I believe Detective Donner got the warrant signed. I went to the residence to execute the warrant.
But law enforcement got a search warrant signed?
Yes.
Okay. What is at the address of 1858 North Commerce Street? And as you're saying that, can you describe how big that building is and what it consists of?
Yeah, it's a multi-story apartment unit building. It's near Lakefront Brewery. On the east side, it faces the rivers. The river's right behind the apartments. So it's easily a multi-floor apartment building.
Prior to going there on April 3rd, were you aware as to whether or not another law enforcement jurisdiction had been inside that apartment?
Yes.
Who was that and when?
I believe that was Milwaukee Police Department, and I believe it was the day prior.
And what, were you familiar with why they went there?
Yes, for searching for Sade Robinson.
Something that would be termed a welfare or a wellness check?
Correct.
Do you recall approximately what time you went there?
I believe it was mid-afternoon.
The reason why the Sheriff's Department obtained a search warrant and wanted to go search that apartment was what?
To look for like DNA, and then just to check the status of the apartment, see if we could find anything that would help locate her.
Okay. And you're talking, when you say her, who are you referring to?
Sade Robinson.
So you mentioned looking for DNA. Why was that important for you at this time?
So that we could use it for a comparison if we found anything of hers, such as we found the leg, so we could use that for a comparison.
So at this point, is it fair to say that you were searching her apartment to aid law enforcement in the search for her?
Correct.
Can you describe her apartment?
Yeah, it was a studio apartment. So the bed, how it worked is you open the door, and right away to your left was a bathroom. The bathroom was quite large, had a shower, every toilet, everything like that. And then if you kept going forward, past the bathroom, on the left side was the kitchen. After the kitchen, it was a studio apartment, so the bed was right there on the right side wall, while the closets were on the other side. And then she had a couch that faced the windows, or that faced against the windows, and then you could see the river on the other side.
Can you describe how the apartment was furnished, what types of contents it contained, what types of personal items, just in general?
Yeah, anything personal you would say of like a 19-year-old girl. So all clothes, shoes, it had some Nintendo Switch games, it had food in it, bed in it, the closet was fully stacked with clothes, the bathroom was fully stocked with like hairbrushes, makeup accessories, everything like that.
Upon entry, was one of your goals to determine whether or not there had been a struggle or a forced break-in, anything of that nature?
Yes.
And did you make any of those determinations?
No, we determined that there was no force of anything, of like a break-in or anything like happening.
Did it appear that any struggle had occurred inside?
No.
And can you describe what you did in order to execute the search warrant?
So to execute a search warrant, we take photos. So when we start to take photos, we start on the exterior of the building. So I took pictures all around the building to make sure that you understood where our location was. And then that would include then going up to the floor, taking pictures outside the door, and then overalls of the rooms, just for everybody to understand what the room looked like, what was in the room, if anything was moved in the room or anything like that. So that's how we started off. And then we would start a search of the room.
So you document the apartment as is before you start searching?
Correct.
And did you locate anything in your search to indicate what had happened to Sade or where she was?
No.
And those are specific things that you were looking for?
Yes.
Okay, what did you find and what did you collect?
We did collect a toothbrush. We did locate and saw some like different credit cards and debit cards. We found a Nintendo Switch. We found just different cups and materials that we believe she could have drank out of. We just weren't sure if at any time she drank something that she wasn't supposed to, whatever it may be. So we collected a bunch of cups and other materials that would have her DNA on it.
Okay, so the toothbrush, were any other brushes recovered?
I believe one other brush we grabbed.
Toothbrush, other brushes, any, and then receptacles to drink out of. You're searching and recovering those for what purpose?
To collect, or we could use for that comparison DNA.
Because at this point you were aware that there was a human leg that had been recovered at Warnamont Park, correct?
Correct.
So were you recovering these things in an effort to try to connect her DNA to the DNA of that human leg?
Yes.
What else did you locate in the apartment?
We located a pink safe. We located, she had a TV in the apartment. We left all of that. And then anything that might have been valuable, so we weren't sure who had access to the apartment, we took out of the apartment.
What was inside the pink safe?
Inside the pink safe was, I believe she had some cash as well as she had some narcotics inside the pink safe.
And what do you refer to when you say narcotics?
I believe it was pills. I believe they came back as positive for meth, and then some THC. So that was it.
Okay, and THC is the active ingredient in marijuana, correct?
Correct.
And when you say come back positive for those two drugs, what does that mean?
You use a test to test the narcotics, and I can't remember the test for the meth, but for the marijuana was the Decoys-Levine test to test the marijuana.
Those are called presumptive field tests, correct?
Correct.
And were these ever sent out to the state crime lab for conclusive testing?
I'm unaware.
Was there anything to indicate how long those items had been inside the safe?
No.
Was the safe locked?
Yes.
You indicated that there were photographs taken, correct?
Correct.
Now, so the record is clear, we stipulate to all the photos being introduced into evidence, Your Honor.
What numbers are those?
They're 41 through 50.
I will receive into evidence 41 through 50 then.
Showing you exhibits 41 through 50, first of all, do you recognize what those are?
Yes.
And can you identify what those are?
That's the 41 is the exterior of Sade's apartment building.
That's a photograph, correct?
Yes.
Are all of those exhibits photographs?
Yes. Yeah, they are.
I'd ask that exhibits 41 through 50 be admitted and permission to publish.
Already received and feel free.
Okay, this is exhibit number 41. What is that?
That's the exterior of Sade's apartment. So that would be like the front entrance to the apartment building.
Showing you exhibit 42. What is that?
That would be the door to her apartment.
Exhibit 43.
That was the bathroom right upon entry of the apartment. That was on the left-hand side.
So is that one of the first things that you see when you walk in?
Yes.
And anything, what was recovered out of that room?
That's where we located the toothbrushes and the other brushes.
What about exhibit number 44?
That was her kitchen. That was on the other side of the bathroom.
Exhibit number 45?
So if you turned around, if you were looking at the kitchen, if you turn around and look the other way, that was her closet next to her bed.
Okay, and so this is the end of the kitchen counter, correct?
Correct.
Where my pen was?
Yes.
And then this is her bed?
Yes.
Exhibit number 46?
That was her bed, and then you can just kind of see the end of her kitchen counter there.
Exhibit number 47?
That was, you can call it a makeshift living room with her couch and then TV.
Exhibit number 48?
That would be the toothbrush that we collected.
What did you ultimately do with that toothbrush?
I inventoried it and placed it into property, which
Are you-
was,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry, it was then taken to the state crime lab.
Okay. Exhibit number 50, what is that?
That's her couch and her bed with all of her clothes on it.
And exhibit number 49, what is that?
In one of the drawers in the kitchen, she had a bunch of IDs located. So we took pictures of all the different IDs that were located.
One of those is for the Milwaukee Area Technical College, correct?
Yes.
And then right above it is what?
It looks like a probationary ID.
Based on your knowledge, what is a probationary ID?
Just means you're not 21 yet.
So that's a Wisconsin state issued ID.
Yes.
And does it specifically designate that the person is under 21 in some obvious way?
Yes.
Where?
The top left-hand corner, it says U21 and then probationary driver's license. And then it says age attained at the bottom.
And you found that where?
In her apartment, in one of the drawers.
So in theory, if one were to try to get into a bar with that ID, they should be denied, correct?
Correct.
All right, I'm showing you. In a minute, I'm going to show you something. Showing you what's been marked exhibit number 40. Do you recognize what this is?
Yes.
What is it?
That's the toothbrush that we took from the residence.
How do you know?
I signed it. It says evidence collected by K. Bierke, evidence sealed by K. Bierke with my signature.
On that, that's an envelope that contains the toothbrush, right?
Correct.
On that envelope, are there other markings that are not from the sheriff's department?
Yep, there's one from on the side. It says R24-952, and I know that's from the crime lab.
I'd ask that exhibit number 40 be received.
Agreed.
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 It's received.
I don't have anything further.
Cross?
Thank you. Were you the one who took the photographs of the apartment?
I believe so.
Okay, so just with your department issued camera, basically?
Yep.
And you talked initially this morning about one of the purposes of getting a search warrant was to look for DNA, right?
Correct.
And I'm sorry, you are a detective with the sheriff's department, right?
Correct.
And DNA evidence being an important tool that law enforcement can use in cases, right?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry?
Absolutely.
And that's the reason that you said absolutely is because it can help you pinpoint one's identity, for example, right?
Correct.
And you've worked with DNA in your experience as a detective, right?
Yes, I have.
And the way in which we go about collecting DNA samples is to do swabbing.
Correct.
But you as the detective don't do the swabbing, you call in lab personnel, don't you, that go through and actually swab for it?
Depends. There's times I am trained as an evidence technician. I can do the swabbing. However, I did not swab any of these items.
Got it. But, so either way, you specifically could choose to swab if you wanted to because of your training, or you could call in people to do that for you.
Correct.
And then that type of evidence, DNA evidence, when you're going through we can take down the photos, I don't need that up. When you're going through Miss Robinson's apartment, you're using your eyes to look for things that might contain DNA, right?
Correct.
Because you know that it can be shed from skin, for example,
Correct.
and it can come from saliva.
Yes.
One of the reasons you had, I don't know if it was one of the photos you looked at, but you had noted a glass, for example. We would like to test the rim of a glass because it might have one's DNA on it.
Yes.
And so that's crucial piece of evidence, could help you link up, as I think you were saying, the leg that was located to Miss Robinson.
Correct.
But that wasn't the only reason you were searching the apartment. It's not just for DNA and identification purposes, is it?
Correct.
We also wanted to look at a pink safe you testified about.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, did you say the safe was locked?
Yes, it was.
So did you yourself open it?
I did not open it. One of my partners did open it.
In your presence?
Yes.
That's why in your report you documented the contents of it.
Correct.
Why did you not photograph the contents of the safe?
I don't recall if I did or did not photograph them.
You did prepare a police report, didn't you?
I did.
And in your police report, you identified, you tried to be thorough in your report, didn't you?
Yes.
And in your report, you did identify a description of everything that you found, right?
Correct.
And there were other things in the apartment of note that beyond just, well, there was a number of, we could see from the pictures, it was there was a lot of things in the apartment, I guess, for lack of a better expression, right?
Correct.
The closet was sort of piled up with stuff, and there was, I mean, we've all been 19 once, right?
Right.
Okay. So, but there's a lot of things to sort of look through and read through, right?
Correct.
And including mail and letters and notes and things like that.
Yeah.
But your partner opened the pink safe, and that's where the meth was located.
Correct.
Because you said on direct, I thought, that it was a field test that was done that the department can use, right?
Correct.
Meaning that there's, and you wrote that in your report, didn't you, that there was methamphetamine recovered?
Correct.
And you described it as 47 pills of meth, right?
Correct.
Disposition sent to the property room,
Correct.
meaning that it gets recovered and taken into evidence, right?
Yes, it did.
What does meth mean?
Meth?
Yeah.
I just used the short term for methamphetamines.
But that's a street drug, right?
Correct.
And then 18 grams of THC, obviously marijuana is not able to be purchased lawfully either.
Correct.
And when we hear meth, they're pills though?
Correct.
Okay. Not something you'd smoke.
Not in that form, no.
And then the weed, that was just documented also, right?
Yes.
And then the various notes and letters and things like that are documented as well?
Correct.
$888 in cash inside the safe?
Yes.
And that's the same safe with the drugs?
Yes.
That's all. Thank you.
State?
Was there anything else that was drug-related in the apartment that you located?
No.
And then the photos that you were shown as exhibits 41 through 50, those weren't all of the photos taken, correct?
No, it was not.
Exhibit number 49 again. And focusing on the probationary license. Are you aware of when that license would have expired?
I can look at it and see.
If you can, yes.
It's a bit blurry, but I believe it's 5/15 of 2025.
And that would correspond with Sade turning 21, correct?
Correct.
Nothing further.
No, nothing for us.
Thank you.
You can step down.
Okay, we have like 15 minutes left. Do you have a quicker witness?
Yes.
Awesome.
Captain Christian Hoos. Next to the TV.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
If you could please be seated, state and spell your name for the record.
Christian Hoos, Christiaanhoose,
How are you employed?
with the City of Milwaukee Fire Department.
How long have you worked for the City of Milwaukee Fire Department?
27 years.
What's your current rank?
Captain,
How long have you been a captain?
13 years.
Were you working in your capacity as a captain with the fire department back on April 2nd, 2024?
Yes, I was.
What was the shift that you worked on that day?
It was our blue shift.
What does that mean?
It's, we have 3 shifts, 24 hours. We work and then 48 off, 3 colors, red, blue, green.
Okay. Were you dispatched to the location of 2928 West Lisbon Avenue on the morning of April 2nd, 2024, shortly after 7:30 a.m.?
Yes.
Where is your fire station related to the address of 2928 West Lisbon Avenue?
We're about 2 blocks south.
Is that, both of those locations, are they in the city and county of Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Yes, they are.
You were 2 blocks south, so I take it didn't take you long to get there.
That's correct.
When you arrived on scene at 2928 West Lisbon Avenue, were you provided any information actually before you got there as to what was on fire?
I believe we were sent to a car fire.
And when you arrived there, what did you observe?
A car burning behind the building located at 30th and Lisbon.
Was there anybody around the car when you got there?
Not that I remember.
Can you describe what the fire looked like to you as far as where in the car or what part of the car?
I believe that the fire was in the passenger compartment where all the seats are located in the trunk area.
And did you and your fellow firefighters put the fire out?
Yes, we did.
Was the Milwaukee Police Department also sent to the scene?
Yes, I requested them because the fire appeared to be suspicious.
Based on that answer, I assume they weren't already there then? When you
I
got
don't
there?
recall that they were there right away, no.
What made the fire suspicious to you?
This address is a vacant building. It's no longer there. It's been demolished, and we had been using that building for training for a number of months prior to that. There's no reason for a car to be back there. Like, no one would park a vehicle back there normally. We've had instances in past where there are cars that were burned back there, and they were also, suspicious.
What kind of car was it?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did you end up cutting into any parts of the vehicle?
As standard practice, we cut into the trunk to make sure that there is no hidden fire or there's no persons inside of there. We also open up the hood to overhaul that area to make sure all the fire is extinguished.
Once the fire was extinguished, did you sort of turn the scene over to the Milwaukee Police Department?
Yes.
I have nothing else.
Ross?
You said there was a vacant building at that spot that you've been using for training purposes.
Yes.
right on the corner there. It was right on the corner of Lisbon Avenue. It was that two-story building, right?
Yes, the old Aces High Tavern, it was the northeast corner.
Yeah, and you were using it not to set on fire for training, but for entering and exiting a building, right?
Correct.
And then you said you've had other incidents in the past where cars were burned back there in that alley.
Yes,
So that's because you've responded to them, right?
correct.
And those were suspicious, you said.
Yes.
Why is that alley being used on multiple occasions to burn cars? Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
Who's picking that particular alley in Milwaukee?
I don't.
Okay, how long have you been, when you say plural incidents, how many are you?
I can think of two recently, on either side of the date of this April 2nd.
Okay.
Um,
You can
and
think of,
we
you can think of
consider-
what?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Finish your answer, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying we consider something suspicious if we don't have an owner there to say, this is my car, and there was no one there to do that, so we automatically call for the
Got
police
it.
for that.
You were saying like one before this incident in April of 2024 and one since then.
I believe yes.
When you responded, were you it was a fire engine, obviously, right?
A fire engine and a ladder truck. I'm
And-
on the ladder truck.
You said that the fire started on the passenger compartment of the vehicle?
The fire was involved in the passenger compartment. I don't know where the fire started.
Oh, involved, meaning that's where the majority of the flake?
Yes,
The
yes,
fire is happening,
correct.
that's all.
State?
One thing, how did you put it out?
With a reduced hose line of water.
Could you describe the force of the water that comes out?
It's an 1 3/4 hand line that we use off of our engine. About 160 pounds of pressure comes out of there.
Significant amount of pressure then,
Yes,
nothing else.
Defense?
Sorry, just one more thing. You did speak with law enforcement also, right? Because you you called them in?
I believe so, yes.
And you remember that the trunk of the vehicle was open when you arrived?
If that's what I had told the officers, then yes. I do not recall it now, but
And that the vehicle was unlocked?
yes,
You remember that?
I believe so, yes.
That's all.
State?
Nothing else.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 11:52. I think it's a good point to break for the morning. So again, the admonitions. Remember, don't do any investigation, don't do any discussions about this case, don't do any blogging, emailing, texting, don't talk to each other about the case, don't talk to any friends or family about the case. Put it out of your mind until you come back this afternoon. I have just a couple of matters to handle right at 1:30, so I'm thinking we're going to start back up at 1:45. If you could come back between 1:15 and 1:45, that would be wonderful. Again, I cannot start until all of you are present. And again, remember to wear your juror badges prominently so everyone knows who you are over the lunch hour. Okay? God bless you. Okay, leave your notebooks on your chairs. Have a lovely lunch. We'll see you back afterwards. Are there any matters to address on the record before we break for lunch? State?
No.
Defense?
No, Judge.
Okay, we'll see you back this afternoon, hopefully by 1:40-ish, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Celeste, do you need me for anything?
No, Judge, thank you.
Text me if you need me.